Everyone's.
No, see, and I kept telling her she had the old one and I changed it so many times and I've received nothing. So I will go.
So once we're done with this meeting, if we can just cover that and we.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll get some email.
Okay, well, it is 2 p.m. on Monday, August 18th. This is the budget meeting for the Blue Sage service area. It looks like we have 2 of the 3 committee members present. 4. No, you're correct. 2 of the 4 committee members present. With that, it's still, we require 3 for quorum's sake to do any actionable items. However, this meeting only has 1 discussion item with no actionable items on it. So we're going to continue. More it's just not an official meeting, but we're going to still go through it. We can go through everything. We'll post the video that way. If any of your one in your service area has questions, what happened here, it's all available to them on the record. So we'll just move forward. We just can't make any actionable items without a quorum of the committee, but none are needed. With that, on this side of the table, you have Ray Furbez, your finance manager here for all of the CROA accounts. I'm Jacob Waddle, your general manager with Celebration. You have Alex Georgiadis, thank you, your new service area director, and you have Delise, your service area administrator. With that, I'm going to present the budget draft that we've proposed to the committee and the community, and then pass it to Ray to do a full kind of overview of it before we kind of open it up for some dialogue as well with the committee.
Okay. Okay, so I'm starting again from the bottom up. For next year, we're proposing a monthly assessment payment of $536.33, which represents an increase from 2025 of $83.14 or 18.3%. Now, the main drivers are all going to be on the operational side. You have several new lines here that we're going to go line by line. We have the first one, we have the landscape contract. We're still under contract, so that amount is not going to change from 2025 to 2026. That remains $11,820. We have the landscape not in contract for any landscape maintenance services that are provided to the community that are not included in the current contract that we have with Exquisite. This number we're increasing from what we had in 2025 due to the current run rate that we have for 2025. Usually not. Up to June 30th, you have expend already $2,275. We're expecting for you, if you continue at this rate, that you're going to end up close to $5,000 by the end of the year. That's why we're allocating $5,000 to this line for 2026.
Why are we paying Exquisite?
No, oh yeah, I'm sorry. This one is AAS. Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Yeah.
AES.
AAS, yeah. Yeah, it was my bad. Sorry. Then we have, okay, so we're at the $5,000 for landscape not in contract. So then we move on. This is one of the new lines that we have here, which is related to tree trimming. There was a change in the CCTD policy. That's why we're including. The next line is going to be irrigation repair. Currently, we're also increasing this line based on the current expenditures that we have seen for this year. Currently, up to June 30th, you have spent $1,300 on this line, and we're expecting at that same run rate that you'll finish at $2,600 by the end of the year. That's why we're including $2,500 for 2026. Then we have what?
Talking about irrigation
Yes,
repair.
yes.
That's already been approved or just
$1,319 has been approved throughout the year so far for repairs.
Up to you, yeah.
and projected is like double that?
The projections are solely based off of the
The current run rate.
the current run rate. So since this was at 6 months, those projections are just every number of your 6 month year-to-date actual doubled over
That's what we pay for the water for irrigation.
for irrigation repairs. I don't expect you actually to probably hit that 2,639 as we saw a large amount of irrigation repairs take place in your first 2 quarters, which would hopefully show us that we're going to see a decline in expenses. But that's what we're basing off of that quarter.
Yeah, most of the forecasts or the predictions that we have in here, unless we have an estimate already, for example, like we already have estimates for the floor pressure washing and the gutter cleaning and termite bond, then we're using the run rate to estimate what's going to be our year-end expenses and what's going to be potentially our next year expenses. So moving on to water, we're basically leaving flat at $850 for the year. Electricity has a slight increase here. Same reason, we had $886 for the budget for 2025. Currently, we have spent up to June 30th, close to $500. So we're estimated that the year we're gonna end up close to 1,000. That's why we're budgeting 1,000 for next year as well. We have general maintenance. Yeah.
What was that?
Electricity.
Electricity. Okay, then we move on to general maintenance. In this line, for this year, you guys haven't spent anything. So we just added a placeholder of $250 for any general maintenance needed for next year. Moving on to roof repairs, up to June 30th, we have already spent $4,000 on this line, $3,500 over what we had budgeted for 2025. If we continue at this rate, we might end up the year with $8,000 on this line. We're just estimating $2,000 for next year in terms of roof repairs. Now for spring pressure washing,
You forgot gutter repair.
Why are we paying so much for roof repairs?
gutter repair, we're not estimating anything.
Roof repairs.
Roof.
They're seeing they had $2,000 in expenses in roof repairs, or $2,100. Again, those projections of the 4,000 is just if we were to double that. I don't expect that to be the case.
Yeah.
But we can pull up after I've done, I'll see what that has cost $2,000 of gutter repairs.
The question is for roof repairs or gutter repairs?
At least can pull up those.
Five balls. So
Actually, both of them.
We'll pull those up to dive in with
Pull
you.
it up and pull it out. Get rid of it.
You want the actions? Like the detail of the actions, we can put them up.
well, gutters haven't been repaired, so I'm not sure what
I don't
we're
know
paying
I don't
for.
know what we're paying for.
They're all wonky everywhere.
Okay.
Now, somebody was on the roof the other day.
That's doing your gutter clean.
Okay, why are they cleaning and not repairing?
They didn't do any
They
cleaning.
didn't clean. He walked, he didn't go across the whole thing.
Take a look into that. I know the gutter cleaning will receive a full inspection as well because there's what has been cleaned or not too. So
Cause I was there, he was up there maybe 2 minutes
On our side.
and the gutters are like this. If you're gonna clean them, once you clean it and pop it down again, he didn't do anything.
The
No.
screens,
The screens are just hanging there.
screens are all, you know,
So,
unhooked, unhinged.
and then he went around the back. My neighbors went up there because I could hear him upstairs. And he was down, I mean, unless he only cleaned next doors and didn't do anybody
Across
else.
the street. He did the even numbered side. I mean, well, how do they clean it? Water?
So yours are a bit different because of the gutter guards on them.
That are not on.
That are not on. That's why we wanted to do a full gutter cleaning this year, which includes a downspout cleaning. And that is where they do use water for the downspout cleaning as well. So we were.
So he was up there to do an estimate.
He didn't do any work. He just did an estimate.
No, this isn't. They were there to do a cleaning.
How long would that take? No,
Yeah, well,
I was in the
it's
house.
thoroughfare, so on that. I know we saw them on site when we were doing the inspection last week, but
Yeah, they were there. There were 2 of them at their truck for a long time, but up on the roof, I was in the house.
Okay.
I looked out and because it was only a few minutes. There's no way you could clean all of that.
Front and back and garage.
Yeah, no.
They certainly didn't.
I thought they came to fix them because they've been broken. I thought that's what they were doing. Then we came out and they didn't get fixed.
Yeah, okay, so I have here the 2100 is not related to gutter cleaning, is a fence installation for 1400. And then we have general repairs for 650.
So they need to be lined to the general maintenance line.
Yeah, so,
Fence installation,
yeah. Fence installation, 901 usage,
and how much was it?
1,450.
Boy, that's a stretch for what they did.
Well, we saw the numbers on that before they went out, right? Didn't we?
It sounds kind of high. They did some repairs, but I mean, did you get estimates from more than one vendor on that?
For the fencing, for the fence,
Yeah,
that I wouldn't be able to answer.
We talked about redo or fixing,
yeah.
and the fixing, what was the fixing? But I
They
don't
fixed- they
remember the
fixed door,
numbers.
And then they fixed some of the wall. But it doesn't look like $1,000 worth of work.
The invoice says fence installation white vinyl.
What's that?
White vinyl? Is that-
White.
White, white.
Yeah, well, that doesn't tell me what they did.
Tear down and removal of existing fence. Removing of existing fence. Perfect fence, high contour, customer acknowledgement that has been made of contour installation. For space, issue, just typical projects. Yeah, it's removing an installation of a new fence.
They didn't install a whole new fence there. They repaired some of what was already there.
I need footage of like how many pieces that needs to be.
Over that invoice to definitely.
Yeah, I would have the right information.
Over here.
Okay. Back to going through the line by line of the budget.
Yes.
We move down to pressure washing.
Yeah, so any questions on roof repairs? You want to see the details as well? right?
What repairs were done? I know they did some repair on mine because it leaked up until, for 5 years, continued to leak after the new roof. was-
Isn't that the roof people that are supposed to like come back and maintain their roof that we paid a fortune for?
So we have 3 invoices for the address 908 Blue Sage.
908?
908, yeah. Just 908 alone is over $2,000. We have 3 invoices. Two for $800 and $100 and another one for $550.
Why did we go after the original roof installer that didn't install a roof correctly? Isn't that under warranty?
Is there a warranty? And like the gutters, isn't there a warranty? Why are we cleaning them if they have the things on it? Why are we paying for that? There should be warranty on some of this stuff.
The gutter cleaning, we already mentioned the 2100.
I understand what you
Yeah.
mentioned, but
Yeah.
why isn't there a warranty on the gutters that were put on? And they're all wonky and now the garbage is getting in and we're now have to pay for cleaning, which they didn't clean.
Yeah,
So-
gutter guards have
Were
been,
these projects, sorry,
Right.
were these projects brought to the committee? Sorry, I joined a little late. It sounds like, did you all
Oh, hi.
did you all have knowledge of these? I'm trying to understand. That seems to be the gap.
So do we. We're trying to understand.
who is that?
That's Charles.
That's Charles.
Yeah, hi, sorry
Please,
for
yeah.
not going late.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a disconnect between management and what the committee's, at least from what I'm hearing, that some of this stuff is not making its way to the committee either for a vote and or oversight of what's happening, if I'm hearing correctly.
Yeah. Our problem is on follow up on or no, we not right. I mean, we have new gutters and now we're paying for cleaning for the gutters, but still won't. We're paying all this
Guards-
money.
guards are wonky.
Yeah, that we're paying all this money. And I broke, they never went after him to pay for it. Now it's coming out of our budget because my driveway would follow up on the work, right? Check, they go.
One of the problems is, yeah. Correctly,
Yeah.
before the check is written. Check, money's gone, vendors gone, and there's no,
And it's costing us a fortune just on
that's more.
continual. So that guy did not clean. I can tell you right now. There was no cleaning done.
Between 901 through 905.
He went in front of my house, at my house, went upstairs, only next door, went upstairs, I heard him. And then he was at the back, went upstairs, I heard him, and they were gone. There was no cleaning, no maintenance. They're still wonky, it's not clean. There was no water. So
Cleaning.
they're blowing smoke up us again.
If they cleaned, they would have had to put the gutter guards back on, I would think. Did they not? Doesn't the cleaning contract include reinstallation of gutter guards?
To look and see where that lands with the gutter guards. These are one of the few that have the gutter guards on
But
them.
why didn't the people that did the gutter guards, why aren't they coming back and fixing them? Because they didn't put them in right.
That we can challenge.
Okay, because I'm so tired of paying.
We
Yeah.
can do that.
I
challenge.
want the tree guy who broke my concrete when he took down the tree to come and fix the concrete. Why are we paying for it?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
Exactly.
Why is it all, so then our money goes up. It's like, oh, well, let's just write another check. No, I don't want to write another check.
I think, yeah,
It,
it's too easy to write the check and be done with it.
and that's the big problem with the people that have been out there is they never come back and see if the work ever got done. If it was correctly broken, and they would have said, hey, dude, go have houses. It costs money. That's not fair. And now we got the gutters and supposedly these guys are up, they only clean next door if they did it. And I'm not paying for that. I am not paying all that money for 10 minutes of those guys sat at their truck talking because I saw them. No, that's ridiculous.
Was there?
905.
So
Sorry.
if I can jump in for 1 second, I appreciate the
Uh-huh.
dialogue. And honestly, I think this is a continued pain point that we have in every service area. And I think obviously Alex coming on board, you've heard this in a few of the meetings, you heard it in the Island Village talks and some of the others. This is an area where we have to get very good very quickly around project oversight, project completion, quality
Mhm.
control, these types of things, because I think you're hearing it firsthand from the residents that really what's happening obviously is spending their hard-earned money, spending their dues, and we don't know what's going on, and that's the worst possible thing. So just from the board perspective, I think I hear what you're saying, I hear it loud and clear, and I'm concerned by some of these answers. So hopefully we can figure out some of these solutions, because I don't like what I'm hearing either. The fact that we don't know answers
Yeah.
to these is disappointing.
The other house for tree tax.
901.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
901.
901.
I know.
And we shouldn't have to pay for that. Where are those tree guys?
And 3 years have gone by from the time they did those trees till, I destroyed the concrete. I remember when Natalie was the middle manager in Jacob's position. We had a meeting with Natalie on virtual because she had COVID. And I remember her telling Rose, giving her the name of a concrete contractor, telling her, do it, get it done. That was 3 years ago. And here we are, 3 years later, the damn things are still not repaired.
And it's gonna cost more money every day.
Yeah.
It just costs
And
more money.
it's too late to go after the tree vendor.
Well, and so as an example, I want to know what's wrong with the roof. Why are we going after the roof people? Okay, and then, because we just did that again, and then why the gutters? Wait a minute, I'm not paying those guys who were out there for 10 minutes.
We've had constant roof leaks. Okay, so now
Yeah.
you're saying 908, you paid a couple grand. I know 906 had roof leaks when they lived there. They moved out like a year and a half ago, but I know they had roof leaks. On 909 had roof leaks right next to me. I've had roof leaks. She had. roof
Oh, gosh,
leaks
I had it for years. Yeah.
And that was done in 2020, and it's been continual roof leak.
I want to pay for
Charles, are you still there?
lack of,
Yep, I'm listening to
Charles?
all of this. Yep, I'm listening to all of this.
yeah.
Yeah, did you hear the part about the roof that we had done 5 years ago and we had a continuous for 5 years?
Yes, so this goes back 3 general managers ago. I'm listening to all of this. I'm not laughing at
You
this. I'm,
understand our frustration?
no, and you have every right to be, and I'm going to connect with the committee offline on some of these topics.
Okay,
Not acceptable.
no, totally not acceptable, but I mean, it just goes on year after year after year.
I'll reach out separately on this. I want to
Okay.
talk about a few other things. No, apologies.
As far as the fence goes, we need to see what they did, footage, what fence, confirm with the homeowner that that fence was done like that. Just vinyl and fencing is not acceptable. Where's the schematic of what they put in, what they took out?
How many hours did they spend doing?
Who was out there, how many people they had to use. If they're billing us that money to fix the vinyl fence, then I want to know what they did. Now, this just arbitrary, here's your bill, here, pay it. We
Yeah.
can't do that anymore.
Mhm.
That's just not
That's
acceptable.
what's been done in the past.
Because otherwise I'll just put in bills and I'm doing it. I'm cleaning the gutters because I could have done the same job they did. I don't want to go up there, but it's not acceptable anymore. This is not acceptable. I want to see the layout of what they did with the fence. I want pictures of the beginning, pictures of the end. If they don't have it, then we don't pay them. It has to be done like that from now on. That-
I mean, we see
Yeah.
increases in all over the place.
We're paying a boatload of money
What are we getting?
and we're not getting it.
Our money's worth.
Can I just ask you, what is the electricity? What is the bill on that? What is electricity?
What's it?
Detail?
Electricity for what? I think we all get our own electric bills. When they do work, they plug into our sockets. and
Oh, yeah,
use
they
our
do.
Electricity using our water when they use water. So
It's just gonna show their bill, but what they're asking,
Yeah.
what
I know,
is
but I
getting
remember
billed
the
to
bill.
that?
That's a bill and I need to know what, and if it's for the light out front that is covered by a tree, that is not, I'm not paying for that because they
Yeah,
moved the tree and they put it in the wrong place and it covers the light out front of my house.
yeah, that's
Is it a street light?
Yes.
Yeah, the street light wouldn't be.
Yeah, I know,
This is
but
most likely if the carriage lights on the front or back porch are tied to an association bill.
they pay where? What? No, that's ours.
What? Oh, in the alley?
That's the only reason I would see an electric bill being charged to the association.
Yeah, I mean, I can go to the.
We pay, isn't that under my house, under my 905? I have to maintain the light bulb, so what is the bill for?
Yeah, what's it for?
They plug into my thing when they come and do maintenance,
Whatever they do, yeah.
and they pull the water from my house.
What I can do is take the account number that I have here, go to our maintenance team and have them confirm, where's this reader?
Yeah,
Yeah, because right now I wouldn't be able to tell you like, what is this like for?
yeah, because that doesn't make sense that,
No,
because if they were walking around with a generator, doing their own, but that's a lot of money. Sorry.
I know it's fair.
okay, spring pressure one. I don't think we had a spring pressure. We decided not to.
Correct. So that's why you're not seeing in your year to date, no spend on that spring line.
But we still need to estimate cost for next year, as well as for the fall pressure washing. For the fall pressure washing, similar to the other lines, we're assuming 5% over the expected cost for 2025. We have the gutter cleaning line here that we're gonna have to review. We're estimating for 2025 that it's gonna cost you guys $720. For 2026, we're assuming a 5% increase over that number. For the termite bond, we're doing an 8% increase. This is the same increase that we received from 2024 to 2025. We're going with the same vendor, so we're estimating that we're gonna receive a similar increase for next year. Now,
Are you done with termite bond?
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay, what did they actually, what, do they do for that money? It's just a bond that's saying if we have termite damage, then they'll fix it? Is that what that is?
That's the majority of it, yes. Denise, is there any actual on-site services? They do a couple treatments a year.
Correct.
I've never seen them, any evidence of any treatments. I know when the condos have treatments, they drill into the concrete, they do the treatments all around the condo buildings. When and where do they ever do any treatments on the townhouses?
The last one was at the beginning.
What dates did they show up? How much chemical did they use? There's never been any evidence of that. I've been there.
And then
12
we
and a
should
half
also get a
years, and then
report.
not once
Yeah.
have there been any evidence of them doing anything.
And are we getting reports that it's clear there are no termites in all,
They've never done.
4
an
buildings?
They've never done an
Yeah.
inspection up in the attics.
No, they don't ever come to the.
In 12 and a half years, never.
Some of these.
So what are we paying for?
Are they just walking around and,
Oftentimes it's a visual inspection, but we'll confirm.
okay, but we need to, there should be a report each time that when they've come, what they reported, and that it's,
And if,
Clear.
and if they're doing treatments in the ground, which they should, when, where, how much chemical, how many hours did they spend doing it? There's never been any evidence of that in 12 and a half years that I've lived there. And I ask for it every single year. And they say, oh, it's the bond. Well, that's locking the door to the barn after the horses are gone, in my opinion. They do visit the condos. If they're treating the condos, we should get treatment.
Charles, were you gonna say something?
Is there a project checklist? And I'm sorry to like belabor some of this, but everything I'm hearing, we're gonna have to probably have a separate conversation at a board level on some of this because this echoes, and I can go find the recordings and all of the other service areas. I promise you, this is the same pain point that's coming in every single area. But I'm trying to understand, when we pay these vendors, are we doing a post-mortem, some form of review or some form of completion against the scope of work? I'm trying to understand what's happening here.
But do we show up while they're doing some of this work and see, yeah, okay, I see they're doing their work?
Right.
Or do we just assume they did it? I mean, I would
Right.
think that's Alex's job,
Mhm.
okay? I know in the past,
they have not come out, no. And we've asked for them to come out and they do not come out. And it's, oh, we wrote a check.
Okay.
Why did you write a check for broken concrete?
this is how they expect.
They just write the check and move on.
They pencil
Yeah.
whip it. Done, write a check. I don't have to.
I understand it's hot out there, but it's my money.
No,
My
we're,
husband works very hard for it, so
no,
I
we're in
know
agreement.
it's not acceptable to,
Especially with things with the roofing and the fencing, those are items that I will clearly,
Yeah.
easily going to start adjusting immediately.
why? And they told us it when we've gotten the roofs, oh, it'll be covered. It's kind of like the paint. Oh, it'll be covered. And then, oh, you can call us. And then the company's gone. And we
What
never,
was your roofing company?
I don't remember.
Performance.
Okay.
And it should have been titled poor performance.
Yeah.
And they were up there doing work in the dark. Firing their nail guns, helter skelter. And
No, I got
never
nails
had
all over my
race.
backyard. I got nails. Yeah.
I went around and picked up over 200 roofing nails. I bought
Yeah.
magnetic.
Mhm.
I stopped counting after 200.
So.
Yeah.
Circling this back, the next item is what's charging a fair amount of your increase, nearly like half of your operation increase is this item of the additional allocation due to reserves. I'll pass.
Yeah, so basically what that means is that throughout the year, for example, I'll give you an example. Up to June 30th, you had a balance in your operating account of $2,297. So your monthly reserve allocation should be $3,083. So if you don't have enough funds on your operating account, that allocation is not completed 100%. We can allocate a portion of it, but then what we're trying to say in this line is that over the course of this year, you guys haven't been able to allocate 100% of your reserve allocation, and currently the operating fund owes the reserve fund $5,878. That's why we wanted to add this line here at the bottom to see if we can somehow increase our assessments or our contributions to the operating fund so that we can cover for this deficit that we currently have versus the operating fund and the reserve.
Isn't that where we were doing some of that money banking stuff? What was that one?
Your investments.
Yeah. Were we
Did
going
we
with
get
that
that,
thing
did we
too?
get that invested?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys decided to invest $40,000 of your current funds that you had on your reserve account. These are funds that we need to allocate on a monthly basis from operating to reserve, right? That's the allocation to cover so for 2025, you should allocate a total of $37,000.
Okay, will that go into the CD?
If you guys decide that you want to invest this money, yeah, we can open a new CD or CDAR for,
When can we decide to do that?
I can just shoot you an email and that's it. Like currently, you guys have on your reserve account liquid $31,000. And you already have invested $40,000. So you're close to a total of $70,000. If you want to invest a little bit more, we can do so. I can share with you guys, similar to what we did last time, the rates the First Citizen Bank is offering right now, the terms, and you let me know if you want to invest
I want to
$10,000,
invest it as soon as it can be invested.
and I'll reach out to you guys.
Yeah.
Send us the email, we'll approve it, then get it done.
But just FYI, this is different. Like this will be an allocation from operating to reserve.
Mhm.
Once this money is on reserve, we can invest that money as well.
So at what point do we have enough reserve funds?
Well, so for the reserve, we go based on a reserve study plan.
Okay.
So we're trying to meet the requirements that we have in a reserve study plan.
What
So,
is the requirement?
so in terms of allocations for next year, the reserve study plan is suggesting for you guys to allocate $36,000, which is the number that we currently have here on the budget as well, $36,000, which is a little bit less from what you guys are allocating from 2025.
At what point is the reserve big enough?
So-
I mean, we don't have to paint, we don't have to put a new roof on.
For that, we look at what your contribution for next year should be. One, based off what the recommended balance or the recommended contribution from the reserve study is, which as Ray has mentioned, is sitting at 36,000. Then we go to look at where it anticipates your balance at the end of the year is. As you said, it fluctuates based on large projects. Your balance is expected to be, or they would anticipate that you have a balance of $66,700 by the end of this year. Now that's cash invested,
Mhm.
or money from the investments, all that collective that you have that. Based off of projections, you're looking right within that dollar amount to end your year in 2025 around $66,000. That depending.
Actually, no, like you're gonna end the year close to $84,000 because you currently have close to $70,000 in that
Oh, okay.
liquid and your current investments. So we're estimated that you're gonna end the year close to $84,000, which is actually really good compared to what we have on the reserve study plan. That's why I'm saying to you guys, like, yeah, we can invest more money if you guys decide to.
Okay, so next year, what balance, what bottom line do you expect to?
So if we're able to do 100% of our allocations, like taking consideration that we haven't been able to allocate or transfer out of those $37,000 that we're expecting to transfer this year from operating to reserve, up to June, we haven't been able to transfer $6,000. So out of the $18,000 that we should have been allocated up to June 30th, we've only been able to allocate a little bit over $12,000.
And that's primarily due to a low operating balance.
Yes.
So when the operating balance sits low,
We have to leave it.
as much as you can, and then it leaves the rest in an IOU to your reserves.
It's balanced low. I mean, are we having bad debts from owners or what's the reason?
You entered this year at a very low operating balance.
Yeah, so as of today, you have on your operating balance just $4,000 with $4,123. That's what you currently have up to date.
Okay.
And then if we look at your accounts receivable for July 31st, you only have $478. So it's not that the residents are not paying their dues.
Well, what's that from?
Huh?
What housing accounts receivable from?
No.
That's from a residence, probably just slightly behind, but that's what
Oh,
$400.
oh,
So
that
you're
only
not
for
waiting,
170.
it's not that you have anything in large delinquencies, is
Yeah.
what he's trying to say.
The 4,000 is your current liquid cash in your operating account. What residents owe is gonna be only $478. So it's not a lot either.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yes. This is probably just one resident that is behind because the current dues are gonna be 453. It's very close to the number that we have here. So
One more.
yeah,
One, yeah, okay.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that the residents are paying, you
Mhm.
guys are paying, but we're still seeing low funds in the operating account.
How much a month are we making in CDs?
Now,
I can estimate that. We just opened the CDs, I believe it was like a month and a half ago. I can let you guys know based on the interest rate that we have,
Okay,
what we have
Yeah.
so far. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, right now, how it's set is any of the money made on interest is accumulated into your reserves. So that goes right back in, which the funding plan that we base off of, it's good, it goes right back in the sense that it's expecting that you are investing that money and that money is being or the interest is being contributed to your bottom line of your reserves. So that's set up right. Unfortunately, though, it's just not helping with any, bring money into your low operating lines.
Recommended reserves, the reserve study recommendations. I mean, does that carry the weight of law, or is that just? Yeah, maybe they should do that. Is it based on the fact that, oh, you're gonna need to put another roof on in 10 years?
Yes, yes. So I mean, it does carry the weight of law in some aspects. It's not to the actual dollar amount, but in the sense of fiduciary responsibility. Are we planning for your association properly for your capital projects? Yes, there is some legalities tied to that.
Number is reached. Do we stop allocating as much?
In that sense, we look at this and, sometimes, let's see here. So on this there's two sheets to your reserve. There's the funding plan, which is this 30-year plan for all the money. And then we also have a funding expenditure sheet, which is going to go through every single project here. It's hard to, it doesn't like zooming in, but this is going to show you where we expect your paint projects, where your roof projects, if you had any gutter replacements, landscape, large replacements, and any fence items. That being said, I think, was this one that we had the allocations? We were looking at doing a reallocation for Blue Sage
Yeah.
that we wanted to present to the board. I thought so. Okay. So that being said, here's a very interesting item that we would, when doing this earlier this year or this month, we brought this up to see where does it lie as your large projects go. Fencing is one of your categories. For vinyl fencing, it's a reserve item, which means that it plans that every 20 years, you're replacing most of the vinyl fencing in your service area.
Yeah.
We know that to be the case. You're not going to rip it out and replace it just because it says that. However, it budgets for those things. If you don't use the money just sits there in the main pot. And we look at that at your end of year, where if it's now saying, hey, you're looking at entering next year with an additional $20,000 because we didn't use $20,000.
Okay.
Then what that means is that allows some freedom, and maybe next year you don't have to do that larger contribution because you had an overage this year, and you can then adjust your contribution lower than what the funding plan may recommend as if you have the funds. But that being said,
Example, because if you look at the fences, other than what was happening at 901, because with Tree, which was owned by condo association,
Mhm.
we end up we got screwed for that money, basically. Other than that fence, they're all in good shape,
Yeah.
and they don't need to be replaced.
and I think that would be we'd probably be exact align with you. Maybe one or two things here or there, similar to this gate repair. And with that, though, I want to say the gate repair and even some of the roof items we were looking at, of what you saw, some overages of expenditures. Because right now, your operating fund as written is a bit more written a bit conservative for next year than what we're most likely do, or than some other cases. Meaning,
What does that mean, conservative?
meaning if you see that we're looking at, I think electricity is a good line. You're looking at spending maybe $900 in electricity next year, but we're budgeting 1,000. And you say, Jacob, why aren't you budgeting the 900? Why the extra 100? Is because we're seeing overall, since your threshold of your operating balance is oh, it's very low, right? So it's not, it's barely enough, if enough, to cover the monthly expenses. And that's keeping us in this auditable line of a due to from line, that we can't have. The hope would be that two things. One, through really proper management of these expenses, which in full align with, and we can curb any unbudgeted expenses, which is what lowers your funds. That's really the big hits. The second item is we were looking at this on saying, since some of those were fence repairs or the gutter, if it was one of the other repairs, look at doing a reallocation to changing those out of operating expenses to reserve expenses, which we can do, and is something that we are recommending to the board, that we'll probably now, since we don't have quorum, taking it to you in email of a recommendation to move that $1,000 gate repair. And I think there's a couple other items of the roof repair that we said we would recommend that the committee agree with management to reallocate those to reserve expenses. And then we'll take that from the board to make those reserve expenses. That will.
$2 for electricity.
We have no idea.
That will get an answer for you.
Yeah.
We'll get an answer for you.
If we've been paying for electricity all along, we ought to get that money back from wherever it went.
You have, yeah, I mean, based on the numbers, we've been paying electricity, at least from what I see here from twenty
It's
twenty-three.
not the street lights. Then what is it?
I can't imagine what it would be.
It's a great question. The line is in most service areas in your village, so.
And who
I'm interested to
you're
know,
getting
because
paid to.
Let us know for all the
Yeah.
service areas. So.
Somebody's making some good bank on servicing.
So that's one item where we said this year,
Right.
I was concerned that we're going to keep seeing the full monthly allocations to your reserve not being reached just to do a low operating fund balance.
Yeah.
So I said, one, let's look at seeing if any of these expenses can be contributed to your reserve. The fence being a great
Yeah,
example,
because there's a whole department for fencing, so
Yeah.
take it from that.
especially that it's coming up so soon. It's up next year for $22,000. So if we escalate $1,000 1 year forward,
Right.
that's completely within line.
Okay.
There should be.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that, and we're not gonna have you don't want to escalate things often too far in advance as it can skew your numbers too much. But something like this, when it's clearly in line, is
Okay.
gonna be fine. So that's what we're doing in the short term to help that balance. So bringing that circling back, and that kind of answers your question, is it ever enough? Does it ever cap? We use these documents to help understand where your contribution levels to your reserve needs to be, based off of the numbers of what actually the projects are expected to cost if they were to be acted upon. The sticky number is where the auditor has said to Ray, or your finance manager, this service area has to do something about this line that was added from this deficiency of $5,000 due out of your operating to reserves. This is, like I said, one of the large reasons you're seeing an increase is to fund this allocation line.
I still don't know what that is.
So that is where you've missed. So this whole, where we said, let's say every month you need to put $3,000 in. And at the end of the year, if you weren't able to make all of those $3,000 reserve payments,
Yeah.
that's what creates this deficiencies or due to your reserves line, which just stays on your
Balance sheet.
balance sheet indefinitely until it's paid.
Yeah.
And then that's just brought up by the auditor every year of why is there a remaining due to line here?
So if you're like, the system, what it does is like, if you're not able to allocate 100% of the 3,000, we're gonna allocate just as long as you can meet the minimum required balance on your bank account. Like, let's say that you have $4,000. The date of making the transfer comes, the reserve allocation transfer comes. Instead of you being able to transfer 3,000, let's say that your minimum requirement is gonna be 2,000, and you have a total of 4,000 in your account, and the allocation should be 3,000, the system is gonna only allocate $2,000 of those 3,000 because it needs to leave the minimum requirement
Okay.
in the cash account. So right now, you were able to allocate on this month $2,000 to a reserve fund, but then you still owed $1,000, the difference that you weren't able to complete in that transfer. So that's this number. Currently, up to June 30th, you haven't been able to complete 100% of the allocations and you are owing the reserve fund $5,878. That's that.
We can tell the auditor that the income from the CDs will pay for that.
Well, we need to clean up a few things. We need to figure out where some of this,
Yeah.
where the electricity, the gutter repair, that didn't get done.
So
Does
for
money,
the income from the CDs to pay for that, we'd have to restructure that the income doesn't go to your reserves, that it would be, that it funds your operating to the point where, so you can build a surplus to pay this.
Okay.
This line,
Let's do that.
okay, yeah, so that'll assist. That'll assist that.
And the more we invest, the more we come, we're gonna invest more,
Mhm.
right?
Right, how long can this line sit? I know the auditor will say it needs to be paid immediately, but how long can this sit? In that sense, can it be removed from it for a year to build up funds in the operating to then pay it?
Okay, so there's two things. Either we pay 100% of the debt and that way the line is gonna go away. If we don't pay, unless we don't reverse the entry, like the actual auditor entry that he made at year end, I have no other way. Like that line is gonna stay there and it's gonna roll over year after year until you guys pay the debt. So either we go,
We have enough income to pay it. We save enough expenses from some of these things that are from the.
So that is something then that, I'm sorry, Charles, it was choppy. Can you say that again?
For a non-accounting person.
I think it cleared up right at the end. Can you say that all again?
What are the consequences of leaving it? Yeah, what are the consequences of leaving it on there from an accounting perspective?
Yeah, exactly.
nothing. We're just gonna see. So if you go to the balance sheet, you're gonna see that the debt that we have from operating to reserve is much higher than the $6,000 that we have here. So currently, apparently going back all the way to 2023, the operating was reserved $28,000. So what we're proposing is just covering the deficit that we have for 2025. And then I'll go back and talk to the auditors to see if there's a way for me just to reverse the entry that they made in 2023, so that we can just start from scratch from 2025 moving forward. Because if we don't reverse this entry and we don't have funds to pay for this debt, this line is gonna stay here
It's just an accounting.
forever, basically.
This is one of those, it's on here because it would be a financial recommendation to pay it.
Recommendation.
You see it,
Requirement.
that's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Well, here's my recommendation.
We'll take it.
Sit here until hell freezes. over.
yeah,
So we
In
can
my
take,
opinion.
we can take that committee recommendation that differs from a management recommendation, and we can take that and pass that up to the board with all the information that we've just discussed here, so the board can agree, can vote to lock it in like that. Yeah.
If the board doesn't like that, they can fund it.
No, so that's just one, that's why it's here, that's why we have, that's why it is nice when we do have committees, because then we can put it here saying like, hey, we have this issue, but now we've at least made you aware of it. It's gonna sit there. If you say, well, what about this line next year? Where did that money? We had a conversation and it was decided not to fund it. So that,
Beautiful.
okay.
we're funding.
And if we do go the route that we remove this line, the increase is gonna go from 18.3 to 9.3.
Say that again.
Like if we go the route that we remove this line from the budget for next year, the increase for next year in assessment is gonna go from 18% to 9.3.
Yes.
Just so you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you.
For everybody in the back row,
If you
again?
try and sell 18% to all the other residents, see, they're gonna have pitchforks
Mhm.
and torches.
So yeah, the tactic with these meetings is we put them in at the.
Worst case.
Yeah, to scare them.
Okay.
Really not that.
9%.
It's in the sense of, if it wasn't an issue, what is the best financial recommendation?
Yeah.
It would be this, but it'd be worse if we came in at 3 and then said, hey, but you guys need to make the decision.
By
to
the
do
way,
this, And
yeah.
now it's on the committee that rose it. So that's why you're seeing
Okay.
it like this.
Yeah.
So now, after what we've just discussed, we're looking
Okay.
at a 9.3% increase.
So let's try and get that down.
Mhm.
Deleting some of these expenses.
18 to 9 is a good,
Oh,
I'll
nine,
go with
from
that.
9 to 3 would be better.
okay.
So, yeah, let's do some more work and get these numbers down.
We got to clear up some issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we go down, I mean.
So
So.
if you guys, if they have the guards, the gutter guards, wouldn't we be able to remove the gutter cleaning then?
That's.
Pardon?
So that's fine. The first time I hear, but I'm not sure you know.
No, we brought it up in the past. The last meeting we had. we
Yeah.
Brought up gutter guards.
Because they're all wonky.
Yeah.
So they're not actually guarding, they're just waiting for the wind to take them.
And
We will have the full report from the gutter cleaning where it's a document with photos and they bring up any issues. We've received a couple back from the ones that they've completed already, and we haven't received yours. And it often has lists of, he's bringing up all the concerns of if the pitch is wrong, if they're tilted, like he's documenting this for.
So that's what they were doing. They weren't actually cleaning yet. Okay. That's what I figured.
Part of
They
it.
were up there
I was wondering,
checking.
yeah, because we were there the day, that same day, and we saw them on the other side, up on the
Okay.
garages cleaning that day.
Okay.
But yes, we're gonna see that what the report says too, and it shows, I mean, he has images of the gutters before and after, so if they were dirty or not. This is one I need to see where it falls in scope with the guards.
I mean, I've never seen any rainwater running out of the gutters, so it must be going down the downspout.
somewhere.
Going somewhere.
And you know, that's one, let's see here, how much is your gutter cleaning? I mean, $750, so it's not, it's something to consider that you could.
Yeah, if they
So-
actually did some cleaning,
Mm.
Mhm.
but
With with the guards, the committee and within the board's consent on it as well, can go against a gutter cleaning for the year. So you can say, no, we don't want to fund it, we don't want to do it. Since it's part of the bylaws of the association that the service area does a gutter cleaning every year.
Mhm.
If we don't do it, what comes into play, which might be fine in your situation, which is why I'm bringing it up, is if we don't do it in next year, somebody calls in, the summer of next year, and they call in saying, hey, I think my downspouts clogged. Well, between the cleanings of the gutters and the downspouts, the responsibility falls on the homeowner. So if the service area skips doing
Ah,
contractual cleaning,
okay. Mhm.
then next year, if they call us, we can't say, oh, well, it's gonna be addressed next month in the cleaning, or we can't even send someone out. It goes, unfortunately,
Okay.
your committee with board's consent has approved to skip this year, which puts this in between cleaning cycles, which unfortunately means this falls on the responsibility of you as an owner. It gets sticky because then they go, well, that's what am I paying for? But if that's a decision based off the overall larger goals, it can't, that's the option you have. With gutter guards in place, it's an option worth weighing. We don't recommend.
Yeah, why did we pay for the guards if we're still gonna do what everybody else is doing without the guards?
and when you hire a company to do the cleaning, you get bids from 2 or 3 different companies?
Yes. Yeah, the gutter cleaning, we got a minimum of 3, I think, we had
Tell you,
4, we had 4 bids on that one.
we have 3.
3, and a decline. Okay.
The gutter guards before the.
I'm assuming they're gonna hit the roof.
Sometimes other guys have done years, especially that might be.
They did the roof.
Yeah, when they did the roof after they came in and did that, that was the last thing they did. Yeah,
that was in the gutter guards.
And any idea why they're hanging off or what happened exactly?
no idea. We don't go up there.
And loose.
You can see in front.
Leaves are getting in there.
But they
They've
were
got to
installed
get,
correctly at one point, or no?
I never went up there to check. I would assume somebody went up there to check.
they must have been.
Yeah, I don't do ladders like
Wind and
that.
rain and hurricanes, it
It should have.
causes movement. Well, I know it shouldn't.
But it was after the. they were
Yes,
installed.
it was the last thing. They came, they did that.
But this is something as far as going back and challenging the warranties on the gutter guards and the roof, we will start taking action.
Yeah, we need, okay, so while we're on that real quick, the painters put put all the
The shutters.
shutters back and mine is broken and wonky and
One is
it's just all mangled.
loose.
It's not loose, it's just, and I sent pictures and did the whole thing and she'd ignored it. And I did it right after they finished.
Okay.
And they just didn't put it together. I actually tried to move it today. It doesn't come off. It's just not in right and it's all
So
wonk. It doesn't look good.
if the wind and rain gets behind it.
It's gonna, yeah. And I did send in pictures and there we go. So, but yeah,
It just needs an adjustment.
and there's one at the top
The
too.
painters used stainless steel, good bolts, so they actually did it right. But just one of them maybe didn't.
Yeah, there's two
Connect,
that,
right.
that are not right. So it doesn't look as pretty as it should.
And then just one small more circle back. I know we keep derailing you, Ray, my apologies. When it comes to roof items, often even if there is things that we would challenge back to the builder or say it's on you as a homeowner, challenge your warranty, there's a big, how it's tied to your, again, the governing documents, is often we would still, the association would still carry a burden to send someone out to go inspect it.
Okay.
And whatever that, and even if that inspection says, yep, and then here I patched it for you, that bill cannot then be transferred. Because that would still be the responsibility of the association. However, if they go up there and they say it all needs replaced because it was faulty, then we can tell, well, don't do any work.
Okay.
We're gonna just pay you for the visit.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna have the work get charged to the installer or through the homeowner.
Because we really need that accountability, that next step, because we're not seeing that.
So that is, I would say, so that is the typical process. So sometimes if you're not, if it's and roofs or something quick too, if there's a leak or something, where if there's a concern, we send someone out.
Mm.
And that there's a fee, and those are often not small, like 700 or
Right.
800 is what we have to charge, or is what we get charged for just the service visit. But then anything past that service visit of those is where it can get passed along.
When you say association, do you mean service area?
Yeah, Blue Sage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. So those,
It was a higher association.
I mean, we're all for getting everything done and having it done right and maintaining, but we gotta have some follow-up. I mean, the follow-up has just never happened. And that's where the
this
frustration is.
bring a change, because I was also, some of these things were going on without my purview as well. Something that was changed is now I'm on all of the email collectives of the committee, so I
Okay.
can see the business that's taking
Okay.
place as well. And then when we did that, we also added Charles, your board liaison, to those same emails. So anytime you email that town or the Blue Sage committee email, it goes to all your committee
Okay.
members and the three of us
Okay.
and
And
Charles.
Charles, good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we did that
And hot off
because
the press.
of, pardon, Charles?
No, go ahead. I'll jump after you.
Yeah, so that we did that for these same.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, it's just the follow-up. It's just, that's the frustration.
Delise. When her email gets rejected, does it come back and you see that and undeliverable,
Yes, if I'm on it.
then, okay.
I'll set that up when I leave. And I'll-
Yeah.
We'll try again.
Been trying, how many years have we been trying
Can we
to?
see if
Yeah.
Got to.
John's available for after this meeting to meet with?
Yeah.
We're gonna see if we can get you with IT.
Oh, okay.
So
No, I changed my email and every time she would send it to the old one.
But it's
It got
so
hacked,
close.
so it's not.
So close.
Yeah.
Two little characters changed.
And then I was getting it for a little while, then it went back to the other one and I was like, I'm not getting them. It still exists, it's just, it got hacked and I don't have it, so.
Okay, so with that, I mean, again, switching back to this, just so we can
Mhm.
go close it out. The other kind of main items that we're looking at here, I know, were the professional fees. Again, this is a placeholder. It can get pulled. We can pull that because that's a placeholder for
And
inquiries.
what's that for? An architect or?
Professional fees are often for if we bring out an engineer or anything. So this would be one, some current cases with engineers. We have one where their balconies are up for replacement of wood. So instead of just funding it and replacing all the balconies, we brought an engineer to assess what needs replaced. And so that type of funding, or we have another one that their roof is up for replacement, but their funding isn't quite where it needs to be to do it. So we have an engineer coming out to do a
We
roof
don't have
assessment.
anything like that this year.
You're not having anything, that
We don't
also
have-
is, we also can clump that with, we separate out legal fees, but often we try to leave a little funding for one or the other, whether that way if there are any discrepancies with, with the legal counsel on there, it gets billed to that line, or it gets billed to legal fees, but often we look to see kind of, you can use the fundings for professional or.
Yeah, because we can clean up some stuff here.
We can,
Yeah.
there is, the only concern of
Mhm.
cleaning it too much is we're running such a razor blade thin operating fund.
Yeah.
If your operating fund was in oh, you're well funded, then I'd say let's hack these down, because if you come into some unexpected expenses next
Once our
year,
money
you
starts
can
growing,
eat from it.
money, then we can.
Yeah.
We'll have that. Yeah.
So that's gonna.
Okay.
So if that's something I hear, a note for the committee, if they want to change their interest to not hit the reserves and to go into your operating fund, you can. Do keep in mind that when we do that, this reserve funding plan, where it says, putting in $36,000, recommending
Mhm.
you're associated, it also expects that you're making almost $2,000 on interest reserve, but we're changing this and saying your interest money is not going to your reserves.
Right.
It's going to your operating. Okay, just making sure we're clear, because that will then start to show it, basically $2,000 behind every year.
Okay.
Which will mean that it's going to be important in next year that we do follow that increase, up.
Mhm.
And that increase of your reserve, that since we're missing the interest money. You're not missing it, it's just not going to reserves.
Right,
Like
not
your
gonna keep-
plan thinks it is. And that you can do, you can put it in your operating. It's
Okay.
just gonna not speed that up as much.
Yeah. Do keep in mind that it's always recommended for you. Free, your money grows. If you do want to take the interest out, we do have to wait until investments mature.
Okay.
We're gonna.
Right.
We're gonna tell the bank, hey, just reinvest the principal. Let me take out.
So we can look at that when we get the maturity on that and say, okay, this is what we have. We have to do that then. We can't make that decision now on what. We
And
can
then
say what we like, but yeah,
Yeah, what I can do is like whenever one of your CDRs come to maturity.
yes.
Tell you guys, hey, this is what we have earned so far on interest. Do
Okay.
you want to reinvest 100% of it, or do you want me to take out the interest and?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's wiser just to leave that so we can see where it is and what.
And so then that brings us down to your reserve fund allocation. It's actually we dropped that by $1,000 from 37 to 36 based off of all these conversations we just had about your reserves. So is there any other committee before we move forward with passing a budget a recommended draft budget to the board for approval? We've made a notate that we're going to remove the $5,878 contribution there. That brings your contribution amount about to that 9, or your increase looking at about 9%. 9.3.
Mhm.
Is there any other comments from the committee that you'd like captured, or basically, is there anything else you want to adjust on this that you'd like the board to be aware of when we pass recommendations up?
Or you're going to get back to us on all those things that we asked about.
Yeah, like the insured,
The electricity, the gutter, the
yeah.
fence repair, you were going to move that over to the other. So there's things that need to be addressed
Well,
on.
this would just be based off of, so if I look up here though, I mean, between general maintenance, fence repairs, roof repairs and all of that, we're budgeting a flat $2,000 next year total. So yes, we're still going to get into
Okay.
I'm going to say the past and give you the
Yeah.
information.
We just need to know that. We need,
Yeah.
I think we need to know and see. So for anybody that comes out for anything, there needs to be before, after pictures, what's been happening, why are they on the roof? Why were they only up there for 3 minutes? What's going on?
Yeah.
And not just this,
And
oh,
Alex,
they
you
did it.
come out Watching.
Yeah, we need some follow-up on it.
Not the
Yeah,
whole.
one thing.
I'm
that I
not
just
saying
wanna
they're
add
not,
real
I
quick
just
is-
don't, we've had too much history of not having the job done.
Yeah.
So we need to
That's what changes have been made and
Mhm.
are continuing.
So let
Absolutely.
me mention something to you also. I don't know if you're aware of, the gates in the alley that lead to our backyards, most of us keep them locked. So if you need access or something, just let us know. We'll leave them
But
open.
it's not a problem to leave them open for the day. We just don't leave them open all the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will go up and down and we just leave them.
Does the landscapers go inside?
Pardon me?
The landscapers
No.
have to get in there? Oh, so it's you.
No, landscape
those are ours.
doesn't go in there. But I'm saying, if you need to inspect something,
I'll coordinate for it.
if the work is being done, just be aware that those gates are usually locked.
So I think my neighbors doesn't lock his. That's why they went up that.
That's the only way they got in.
Right.
Right.
That's the only place they got in. But I was home. I mean, I would have been like, absolutely, come on, I'll open it. And yeah, that's not a problem, Don.
I mean, don't be
Yeah.
afraid to ring the doorbell.
Yeah.
I'm-
Or if you just send out an email tomorrow, they're coming,
Yeah,
it'll be,
Coordinate.
yeah, not a problem.
And the
We
reason
just-
is people.
well, the reason.
Yes, Charles?
The deputy sheriff recommended it.
Yeah.
here because they were
Yeah.
back.
Mhm. We've had problems back.
Okay.
There's a bear
So
back.
one thing I do want
It's a security thing.
Sorry, one thing I just want to add to this is I see the cost of this increase between this and CDD, and obviously CROA is coming in. We're ideally going to be under 10%. So I acknowledge there are increases everywhere. And with those, obviously, you know, as I'm listening to this, we're not getting the level of service that's expected, or really kind of the basic bones of what you expect with project oversight and some of those other things. So one thing that I think we're going to want to take away, and this is a Jacob Alex conversation, is we're going to need to come up with some processes, some checklists, some better oversight controls to pair with this increase. Because again, as we go into 2026 with this, we need to make sure we have better protections in place, because some of the things I heard on this call were definitely eyebrow raising. And again, if we're passing on these increases, the expectation is that you're able to confidently note that these services are being performed and to your expectations, and that we are holding the vendors accountable and obviously management accountable as well. So that's a conversation we'll have. And I think we need to accelerate that, Jacob and Alex, just around some best practices and checklists and committee engagement, because I appreciate the candor and the feedback in this, and I think it's helped us with some takeaways for sure.
And we think most of these it didn't catch us off guard. It's not new items to jump through. This was a process that we were already beginning with
Right.
this transition.
Oh,
And we're gonna,
clearly, yes.
I want to say not a lot of those were like, oh, we're caught
Yeah,
off guard.
and we appreciate
But
the new changes. Yeah.
And if you could get back to us about the termite bond, what do they do? Do they physically inspect? Do they ever go up in the attics?
they won't ever go inside your homes. or in that.
Do they put any product out in the perimeter? Because I know the condos.
Is there, so as we try to conclude the meeting, is there any other lines on here that you were straight out, when we look at the 2026 proposed budget, that you as a committee just were not, I'm going to say, in agreement with, that would have, that you propose a different number? Really, with that, it would pertain more in the operating expenses.
Irrigation repair. I mean. That's one line item, I'm shaking my head.
I don't know if they're actually.
So if they actually repaired the way they should be repaired, of course, thousands of
Yeah.
thousands of dollars. But the landscaping in the back, seems to do okay, just.
It's on its own.
The range.
Yeah.
It's on its own.
This process outlined that AES is higher overall than other vendors on irrigation repairs, that we've already had conversations where we're starting to audit more of their irrigation expenses. Because we're seeing it on any of their accounts that we're seeing just higher levels of costs in that line.
Yeah.
So that is something that I agree that we're going to start just really, I guess, confronting it, like, you know, kind of just challenging
Yeah,
the
because-
expense on that line, just because.
I would say it's just happening because of, you know, God and nature, that anything, and they just trim is not.
Yeah, and I know that's part of what, you know, why people like AES is they're on top of it and they're getting, you know, they're not going to leave a head broken for 2 months. However, they're going to be quick at fixing those and making sure that they bill for those fixes.
Yes.
So in that sense, there's give and take, but I also, that we don't want to say, no, we're not going to fund it and we're going to tell them not to fix things. But in that sense, I mean.
And I know there was a huge expense on the, even number, I think it was 908 8 or 9, 10, they did a huge irrigation repair, and we don't, I never even got a aware.
Now,
This year or last?
I think it was this year.
'Cause I know we denied a couple of some that have come up because we wanted to push it in front of the committee. So-
Irrigation repair.
I know we want to be cautious with cutting this too much, just because like I said, we don't want to do that, but we could probably look at dropping that to 1,500 instead of 2,500. It'll put it, it's more than what we've been doing year to year. It's less than the recommendation, but hopefully the idea is we're not seeing a large amount more
Jumping up.
expenses this year. I mean, so that 2,500 is based off of, we've seen 1,300 so far this year, and if it were to continue, it's budgeting for that, but we're gonna be pressing back on why.
where is the concrete coming from? Where in this hole? Not from the tree people.
That would come out of a surplus in your operating fund or the general repairs line. So that's one that we could fund it, but it's, you know, if we could just write in general repairs that we anticipate doing a concrete project next year. And that's gonna cost, you know, we could even get a quote, I'm assuming beforehand.
Talked about it, and there was gonna be 3 and a no, it's only 2 that needs to be done. I mean, it's just crumbling.
Yeah, and I
don't
don't
have
have
any-
those discussions in the
Right.
past 12 months, but in my mind, they were, or to my understanding, they were paused just because we hit this situation. They're not fun, we don't have the operating funds
Okay,
to do it.
I have not heard.
They're not, and unfortunately, no concrete work is lined out in your reserves, which means you can't use your reserves for the
Okay.
project. Otherwise, I'd say, oh, let's just do it in reserves and we can adjust that in the basis. But how that, since you don't have any concrete work in the reserves lined out, you cannot.
This is the first time I'm hearing, because every time we've come in, it's been, oh, we'll get to you. Oh, we're gonna get to that. Oh, it's on that, we're gonna get to that. And in
It's
fact,
At least,
No,
well,
see, it's better just to tell,
just tell me the truth.
just tell me no, it's a no, right?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
when Natalie.
I just don't want to get a note about it.
She told Rose, get it done.
Yeah.
Here's the vendor, call them up
Yeah.
and get it done. That was it.
Yeah.
We took out one of the driveways. It's only 1 and 5. We took out 3. They don't need it. And
Here's your
and then it was,
reserves.
yeah.
Sometimes, like we have one that has a sidewalk that runs through and is the responsibility of the service area. So they literally have a line for sidewalk concrete. If you had that line, we could use, you know, you have a concrete line, so we can use concrete related. Your
Right.
reserves has only a few lines in it, and it's for your paint project, your gutters, your shutters.
Shutters, we have a line for shutters. We'll take that line and make it concrete.
Well, is there a tree? Because it was the tree that damaged it.
Yeah.
It was the tree that.
It was. They chopped the tree. They took out both our trees.
It was the
My
tree that
neighbors.
damaged
The
it.
tree
So-
fell and it broke the concrete. And
Both
we
of them.
complained right away. And
905 and
he said, do not pay them.
Okay.
And they paid
What
them.
I'm seeing there, you can use it the landscape improvements if it's related to landscaping.
Just to represent.
So what we need to do, please write an action item to, let's start with, there's two
There's two.
properties, or it's 2 tree basins, right? That's how many driveways and
yeah,
2 driveways.
2 driveways in one location.
903 didn't need it.
right.
We decided,
Did they have damage?
no,
No.
no, it was others that was older. Not mine, 901 and 905 were directly, the thing crashed down and it
Yeah.
crumbled.
I mean, we went out there and we saw them doing it.
Yeah, the
And
tree
They
guys.
didn't have a cherry picker. They had a guy up there. He was
So they just let it drop.
Drop.
I'm gonna circle up and just make sure from a compliance side, we can do this.
Okay.
But there's a chance we can pull it out of your reserves, out of landscape improvements as this is due to landscaping and it's part of a landscaping item. So out of that, and then we can, if I'm gonna check first to see if that's a viable option, because if that's not a viable option, then that puts us block of the project's on hold to.
Okay, I just, as long as because every time I come in, I'm like, hey, it's not done. Because I've been told, oh, it'll get done. Oh, we got it down.
So we don't need new plants anywhere.
The ones out front are just dying, the deer are just eating all the way
That's all
up.
the
But
trees, yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do that, and if that is a quick, I just need to make a couple calls
Okay.
up to make sure you know the.
Because I don't think there's any other landscaping that needs to be,
There's-
there's no paint, there's no roof.
No, I'm gonna just, yeah, we'll do some checks with some of our
Okay.
professional resources that we have within Real Manage to see, hey, if what I'm trying to do kosher? And
Okay,
if it is, then I'll task the service area department to go ahead and start with concrete quotes for you
Okay.
to get those quotes in.
that's so funny because she told us they had them.
Even if they did, I'm sure they're out of date now.
Yeah.
We'll get some new quotes, but there's a few concrete work
Okay.
items. Okay, so outside of that, we're good with the budget. Pulling out the $5,000 and changing irrigation repairs to 1,500. Do we know what that would drop them to?
So
7.8% increase is what we'll be proposing to the board then.
And then we'll get to see what the electricity is, because we really
Yep.
don't know.
Yep,
And that you're gonna get back to on who the gutter people were, who the guy who was on the roof.
Yep.
And what they were doing. Okay.
and I'm sure, and Ray made the note that we're going to well, I guess you haven't received any of that interest funds back yet for the first one. So
Not long ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that one, once it closes, you'll, we'll make note and work with the committee.
Yeah, no, we
So
we
moving
just need to see.
That interest
Yeah.
money to your operating account. And there's no, and.
And I think we should do that every time.
Committee.
What, we should do that every time because we should see what is come in and what we need to do and then. Because they're CDs, so
yeah.
because once it gets kicked in again, we can't touch it then for next.
Term that would.
Right,
So-
so we should
so
be on it.
Every time that one matures, we need to reauthorize rolling that over.
So it works this way. If we don't tell the bank anything.
They
we're
will do
not
it.
How to renew it.
Right.
I need to submit a request the latest by that Monday.
Yeah.
That's,
You only have so many days.
yeah,
And you have to get our approval, the committee approval.
correct. So I'm gonna be sending you guys an email like 3 or 4 weeks in advance, letting you go, hey, like this is gonna mature at this date. This is the principal amount.
Can't we give you a blanket?
Well, no,
approval?
because we want to know if we're gonna roll it or if we're gonna put it in here. We're just gonna do it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just, while we get this really firm.
Yeah, it currently sits under a blanket approval, but do
Right.
nothing to let it
Right.
re-roll.
Yes.
That has blanket approval.
Yes.
But Ray, like to change it or to do any of that, or often just to see what the rates are, if you want to look at other options, that's what Ray will message you for as
Yeah.
well.
And we just want to see until this gets really solid and we've got things,
Change.
because then later we'll just leave. Yeah.
Reinvesting funds that are already in investment are, can say at a committee level, if it's investing more funds that are not currently invested, that's a request that then needs to get approved by the board. But as you know, that only takes, we just need a
Okay.
2-week window to put on a board meeting and then they'll,
Just trying to be good with
based on the
money.
bill. Yeah,
Trying to
yeah, and you guys.
make it work for us and.
Unfortunately, where you're sitting with your operating has been long-standing. You've just had you've been running at that bare minimum
Right.
when you're operating. And that's not a new thing. That's not because of what we just saw this year. And
No, we don't.
It's been ongoing. The idea is that we can, in the next couple of years, build a conservative operating balance so that we're seeing a little extra, so you can start to build up.
I didn't think to bring up the investment before. That's new that we're doing that.
That's something that
It's so easy.
yeah, well, when I stepped in last year and we started doing these, they were at the tail end, they were a little bit behind, so we wanted to get those done.
Okay.
And then I also said, we just said, hey, why aren't we looking at investing some of the service area reserve cash like we do with CROA?
10 years ago, now we would be in this. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're starting to see that.
Okay.
And that really does help your reserve. That's intended to help your reserves.
Yeah.
But this concept of switching those funds to help your operating is wonderful. And if you're in a situation like this, we
Okay.
just need to build up a balance.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
I know I mentioned that you guys have currently 31,000 liquid on your reserve account. But if you guys are planning on actually moving forward with the concrete, the repair of the driveways and all of this, and that's gonna come out of your reserve fund. And I will wait for us to have like actual numbers of what will
Okay.
estimated cost for that repairs, so that we can then like decide how much money of this that you currently have in your account you really want to
Yeah.
invest.
Okay, so Alex, when you go and look at those two, the concrete things, we don't need to replace the whole concrete pad section. We just need a
Yeah.
repair.
You'll see the corner, it's just
Yeah.
where it's crumbled.
Right.
Just sort of,
And then You'll probably see an email this week. It'd be great to have feedback from the committee based off of what we want to reallocate. That fence expense to make it a reserve expense and a couple of those roof expenses that are in your operating. We want to make those reserve. That's going to open up some cash in your operating and they're justifiable to make them reserve. We're going to be putting that on the boards, the Crow boards packet, which is we're sending out on Friday. It's great if we have a committee feedback because they always ask, well, what does the committee think about this recommendation? So if you're in, it sounds like you're in line with this recommendation as it's going to help your operating. If when you see that email pop through, if you don't mind shooting back that you're in support, as well as informing your other committee members that, or share your personal, if you're not for it, you can share that too. It's your comments, but that's something that we're going to be putting to the board.
Yeah, we're offering
soon.
all the information.
Okay.
That's gonna be a similar line to the one that we have, like the IOU currently, the one. So the $5,000 that operating holds reserve, this will be the reverse. So if the board approved for this cost to be allocated from operating to reserve, then on this case, your reserve fund will all operate. So then we will need to transfer from reserve to operating to replenish this fund.
Right, okay.
So it will be like, it's the same thing working.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you get that.
So it's not actually going to increase their operating. It's going to just eat from the due to.
I mean, we'll need to transfer the actual money.
Okay, so
So
we
it's
can
not-
do that and
yeah.
leave the due to the same amount.
Well, the thing is that this due to is going from operating to reserve. We will need to create a new due to that's going from reserve to operating. That's not gonna help the current debt that we have right now.
That was kind of what we're
Yeah.
intending though, right? It's to make it cash, not,
We'll do the
balance
cash,
out.
we'll do the cash transfer, but this is coming all the way back from 2023, plus the $5,000
Yeah.
from this year.
no, okay. All right, well, thank you all. Appreciate your
Okay.
time. Thanks for
The
the
only thing
conversation.
do is get the email.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charles.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, John.